They say freedom feels like a fresh start. But what if walking out of prison is just the beginning of a darker nightmare? Emily Harper spent 9 long years behind bars for a crime she insisted she never committed. The murder of her childhood best friend, Claire Dawson, shook their small town of Millbrook, Ohio, and shattered Emily's life forever. Now, the prison gates had opened. Emily was free, or so everyone thought, because from the moment her feet hit the cold pavement, Emily's world turned upside down again, this time outside those walls. Her phone buzzed endlessly. Silent calls with no one on the other end. Shadows lurking near her apartment window. And then a message that chilled her blood. "You don't belong here. We're watching." No one wanted to help her. The police dismissed her fears. Her family kept their distance. The town whispered behind her back, "Murderer," they said. But Emily knew the truth was still out there, buried deep in lies and secrets, and the real killer was still free. Millbrook hadn't changed much. The same cracked sidewalks, the familiar buzz of street lamps at dusk, the corner diner where Emily found work washing dishes. But for Emily, the town was a cold place, no longer home but a trap. Her first night out was restless. She lay on the cheap mattress in her cramped apartment, staring at the ceiling, every sound amplified in the silence. Then came the knocks, soft at first, then urgent. Someone was there, watching, waiting. She looked out to see a black sedan parked across the street. The driver's face was hidden in shadows. Was this just paranoia? Or was a nightmare stalking her again? 9 years ago, Emily had been a bright-eyed 25-year-old, full of hope and plans. But one night changed everything. Claire Dawson was found dead in the woods behind their neighborhood. The town wanted answers, and they wanted a scapegoat. Emily was arrested, charged, and convicted based on circumstantial evidence and shaky testimony. She always claimed innocence. But in a place hungry for justice, she became the villain, now free. The question haunted her: who really killed Claire? Days after her release, strange things started happening. An envelope slipped under her door. Inside, an old photo of Emily and Claire, but someone had scratched out Emily's face in red. Her phone rang with silence. Footsteps echoed in the hall late at night. Emily's neighbor, Mrs. Green, warned her, "This town doesn't forget, and some people want you gone." Then came the break-in. The windows shattered. Glass scattered across the floor. Drawers pulled open, but nothing stolen, except her sense of safety. On the carpet lay a muddy footprint, and just beyond, a single black feather. A warning? A clue? Detective Mark Phillips, the same man who helped convict her, was assigned to the case again. His cold eyes gave no reassurance. Emily was on her own. She started documenting everything. Every call, every note, every shadow. She knew the real nightmare was only beginning. What would you do if you were Emily? Would you run, fight, or try to find the truth alone? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you're hooked, and subscribe so you don't miss the next part of the story, where the secrets start unraveling and the danger gets even closer. Emily Harper's world had already been shattered once, but now, with the shadows closing in tighter than ever, she knew she couldn't trust anyone. The town of Millbrook had branded her a murderer, and the people who should protect her were turning their backs. But Emily refused to be a victim again. She needed answers, and if the justice system failed her, she'd find the truth on her own. One rainy afternoon, as Emily sat nursing a coffee at the corner diner, a man slid into the booth opposite her. He was rough around the edges, worn leather jacket, a faint scar running down his cheek, but his eyes held something familiar: empathy. "Jake Collins," he introduced himself. "Private investigator. I've been following your case." Emily's heart skipped. How did he know? And why now? Jake explained he'd worked cases that went cold. Cases where the truth was buried beneath lies and power. He believed Emily had been framed. Together, they began digging into the case files, poring over old reports and witness statements. At first glance, the evidence looked airtight, but cracks soon appeared. Witnesses who testified against Emily had changed their stories. Some said they were pressured by authorities. Others simply disappeared from records. Jake found notes referencing a key witness who'd vanished before the trial, a woman who claimed she saw someone else near the crime scene that night. More startling was a forensic report never presented at trial, one that suggested the killer left a unique pattern of footprints, not matching Emily's shoes. Could this be the break Emily had been waiting for? As they dug deeper, a troubling pattern emerged. Powerful figures in Millbrook had a vested interest in keeping Emily locked away. Jake mentioned rumors about the mayor's connection to the victim's family. The mayor, a man with a spotless public image, was rumored to have dark secrets and enough influence to manipulate police investigations. Emily's stomach tightened. Was this why the case had gone cold? Had justice been sacrificed for political power? Emily's determination grew, but so did the risks. Late one night, while reviewing case files in her apartment, she heard footsteps outside. The black sedan from before was back. Her phone buzzed with a text she'd never forget. Stop digging, or you'll end up right back where you started. Fear surged through her veins, but she refused to back down. This was no longer just about clearing her name. It was about survival. Meanwhile, Michael, Emily's younger brother, returned to her apartment, face drawn and hesitant. "I want to believe you," he said quietly, "but the town's scared, and so am I." Emily's heart ached. Could she trust him? Or was his fear a warning that even family might turn away? She realized how alone she truly was, surrounded by silence and suspicion. With Jake's help, Emily located the missing witness, a woman living in fear at the edge of town. The witness revealed a chilling detail. The night Claire was killed, she saw a man fleeing the scene, wearing a jacket matching the mayor's aide. Suddenly, the case flipped. Emily wasn't just fighting for her freedom. She was facing a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of Millbrook's power. The next day, Jake uncovered a confidential memo, revealing that key evidence had been deliberately destroyed before trial. Emily's conviction wasn't a mistake. It was planned. Someone wanted her silenced. Someone who feared the truth. That evening, as Emily returned home, she found her apartment door ajar. Inside, paper scattered across the floor, a cold draft brushing past her skin. On the kitchen table, a single object, Claire's necklace, tangled in a note written in blood-red ink. "You were warned. Leave now or lose everything." Emily's breath caught. Was this a threat, a challenge, or a trap? The nightmare wasn't just following her. It was inside her home. What would you do if you were Emily? Who do you think is behind the conspiracy? Could the mayor be involved, or is it someone else entirely? Share your theories in the comments below. Hit the like button if you're on Emily's side, and subscribe now if you haven't. Emily Harper stood in the center of her ransacked apartment, her breath shallow, her hands trembling. The necklace lay on the kitchen table, like a ghost from the past. Claire Dawson's necklace, the same one Claire wore the night she died. Emily hadn't seen it since the trial. Next to it sat the note, written in thick red ink that looked disturbingly like blood. "You were warned. Leave now or lose everything." This wasn't intimidation anymore. This was a countdown. For the first time since her release, Emily considered running. Millbrook had taken 9 years of her life. Maybe it wasn't worth taking another day, another breath, another risk. But then she thought of Claire. She thought of prison nights spent replaying the trial in her head, of guards who looked at her like she was already dead, of a town that chose an easy story over the truth. If she left now, the people who did this would win forever. So Emily picked up her phone and made one call. "Jake," she said, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her chest. They crossed the line. By dawn, Emily and Jake Collins were deep inside a storage unit on the outskirts of town, neutral ground, far from listening ears. Jake spread documents across a folding table. Financial records, old emails, witness statements that had never made it into evidence. Then came the piece that made Emily's blood run cold. A sealed internal memo from the district attorney's office, dated 2 weeks before her trial. It outlined a strategy to secure a swift conviction and referenced pressure from city leadership to avoid scrutiny. City leadership, the mayor. Emily sat back slowly. "They didn't just let it happen," she whispered. "They planned it." Jake nodded, and someone made sure the real killer never spoke. Millbrook was proud of its mayor, a man with a spotless image and a decade-long reign built on law and order. But behind closed doors, the cracks were forming. Jake's final lead came from someone neither of them expected, the mayor's former aide. She agreed to meet in secret, her hands shaking the entire time. "I didn't know it would go this far," she said. Claire threatened to expose something. Money, bribes, evidence being buried. "And Emily?" Jake asked. "She was convenient," the aide replied. "Young, close to the victim, no political power, easy to sacrifice." Emily felt something inside her snap. Not sadness, not fear, but clarity. She had never been on trial for murder. She had been on trial for silence. Jake knew one thing. If they tried to handle this quietly, they wouldn't survive it. So they did the unthinkable. They leaked everything. Documents hit the press. Anonymous tips flooded newsrooms. Social media exploded with one question. Was Emily Harper framed? The town panicked. Police scrambled. The district attorney refused comment. And the mayor? He held a press conference that afternoon. Calm, controlled, invisibly rattled. "This is a smear campaign," he insisted, "by criminals seeking attention." But the evidence spoke louder. And for the first time in 9 years, Millbrook looked at Emily Harper and hesitated. The break came late at night. A man walked into the police station and asked for a lawyer. He had been close to the mayor, trusted, protected, under pressure. He confessed. Claire had confronted him, threatened to go public. The fight escalated. One moment of rage changed everything. The cover-up came later. Emily's name was pulled from a list of possibilities and turned into a conviction, not because she was guilty, because she was expendable. The charges against Emily Harper were officially vacated within days. The words felt unreal. Wrongful conviction, gross misconduct, systemic failure. Cameras followed her as she stepped out of the courthouse, not as a criminal this time, but as a survivor. But there was no celebration in her eyes, because freedom didn't erase 9 stolen years, and justice didn't erase fear. Emily packed quietly that night. Millbrook had taken enough. As she zipped her suitcase, her phone buzzed. One final message. "NO number. You may have won the case, but you don't win the game." Emily froze. She looked out the window. Across the street, a familiar black sedan idled. Engine running, headlights off. Was it paranoia? Or proof that some shadows never disappear? She turned off a light anyway. Emily left Millbrook before sunrise. The town watched her go. Some with guilt, some with relief, some with unfinished business. The real question remained. Was Emily finally free? Or had she only uncovered one layer of a much darker truth? What do you think? Did justice truly win? Or is Emily still in danger? Who sent that final message? And would you have stayed to fight or walked away? Drop your theories in the comments, like if this story shook you. Subscribe now, because the next story might be even darker. Because sometimes surviving prison is easier than surviving the truth.